Hello dear Ronins, welcome to Ronin Hood. Today we will talk about the SAMURAI SHINOBI Show that I had the opportunity to realize for the brand Shiseido. They asked me to realize that show for a live event show. It was a 7-minute show. You already have seen the teaser, you already have seen the full show of 7 minutes. Now is the time to criticize a little bit and to give you my feedback with this analysis and making of. We'll talk about the making of the show. So there are many details, many circumstances, fact and technical detail aspect that is interesting to note for what was the result. So I will talk about the negative aspect, the thing where I was not totally happy on that show of my performance, and all the positive aspect that we can keep for future if I will have a next opportunity to realize a second version of the show, another show. So first we will watch together the show, and I will make analysis of everything that was okay or not during the show. Let's go! So I start the show with the kunai rope dart, and for the information, I woke up at 8 o'clock. I didn't have like more than a couple of hours of sleep because sometimes I have a problem of sleep, and I made the show at 9:30 p.m. So it was really too long time, part of time between the wake up and the show, and I had to avoid all this omote during this introduction. I really like this weapon, so I wanted to start with this weapon, but it's a circular weapon. It's not like no spin throw. Then I go to short no spin on my arm shuriken. I'm really feeling good with them, but not with these ninja stars. I had huge problem in rehearsal and of course on the show. The second double ninja stars throw was missed, and the third one was okay, but it was not gripping the same way that in the woods on the wood block with the tatami omote, so it was a huge problem. It took me too much energy on rehearsal and during the show. Then I went to long bow shuriken and I found back my flow. I was between a 1 meter 80 centimeters of distance and 3 meters depending on how I was feeling good. I was really exhausting physically at 9:30 p.m. like the day was off. The best for me would be to make the show at 6 p.m. I was comfortable at that time and I had to avoid to miss the 90 centimeters width of tatami, to not touch the wall of the hotel because the owner, I will be in trouble with the owner. So then I went to the second part. It was with the yaito. I decided to start with shuriken throw, then yaito on second part, and then with shinken, like you have seen on the full show, because I was expecting trouble with like photographer of Western people because they don't react and don't see samurai sword and Japanese culture the same way. Then of course Japanese people, when you saw live show in Japan, it's really different and people has so much respect and consideration and quite distance to understand what is a sword and to not get into the dangerous zone. So that's why I decided to put the yaito on the second part. So it was a risk because I was really exhausted because of the too early wake up, and especially with the ninja stars that were putting too much cardio on my body. And of course this yaito choreography that took me just 2 weeks to realize and to make the choreography. I was happy to give the proper execution of the moves that I was preparing and expecting to realize. So the choreography partition was okay. I was quite happy. They were not having a correct flow and emotional positive energy because I was too much exhausted, but I was happy to execute it properly as I as I choreograph it. So then the third part with the shinken was really more complicated because no energy. I was like totally exhausted because of Ninja Stars. And the second part with Yaito, I had a photographer in my zone because they didn't put the black, they didn't put the red rubber band to indicate that the zone was there, as I asked. That's why I was a bit worried. And I started good, but then I went too rushly, and I stopped after the second omote or the third omote to have a correct edge alignment and correct stances. Anyway, the two first omote I was happy. Then I made a multiple target direction, and then my first mistake, because I moved from my stances too rushly and I lost my edge alignment. Then I bring it back for the two other omote, and then because there were not enough width on the stage, I was really not comfortable, and the omote was too close from the wall, and I missed this one again. So I was a bit angry, because in training in the woods I never missed any omote since now 1 or 2 years for simple cuts or even more complicated cuts. So at this moment I was like in a field of battle, bringing back the heart of the warrior. So no matter what, I go in front, never go back. I advance and I accept what's happening. Again, I had a problem because it was too close from the wall. You have seen that I chose the Shinobi Katana from Yarinonzo because it was a shorter Nagasa, and for having a correct answer if someone were getting to the zone, because you never know, sometimes with Western people attitude with swords you don't understand how to react. So I decided to use that shoulder blade as a safety precaution. So I missed 3 targets. I was really angry about myself, and I realized correctly battodo, double cut, one at the end, and simple cuts in multiple direction with 8 successful omote. So that was the result of this show, 7 minutes. What can I say about that? I think that it was a great opportunity. It was really complicated. It was really complicated because I just had 2 weeks for realizing the craft. So building almost 10 stand for tamashigiri. So it takes so much time and so much energy because everything is craft hand with the woods, the wood material, and I was focusing all my energy first on the crafting, not on the tamashigiri practice. So that was the inconvenience, and I accepted because I wanted to take this opportunity to make that show after 3 years of training in the woods. Then my second target was to realize the choreography for the Yaito, because I think it was interesting to show an aspect that is more cinematographic or more action movie in a way. That is a part of the idea of the samurai sword in the pop culture. If you think about all the character that we have seen in like comics, in of course manga, anime, all the expanded Japanese culture outside of the manga culture, but in the cinematographic pop culture with like heroes like Blade, Marvel, you have like of course manga as Vagabond, you have many characters as Musashi that are known on the pop culture now, external, becoming huger than just the traditional Japanese culture and of course manga culture. There are many others like Ghost of Tsushima, like video games, like I don't know, of course the Kill Bill of Quentin Tarantino. So this is pure pop culture, and it was interesting for me to bring this second part Yaito part because less dangerous. You can't do that like spinning around and making dangerous moves like in action movie with a sword that is sharpened with a sharpened edge. So I decided to make the second part and to make a show with this three part and to make the conclusion with the Shinken Battojutsu part. Of course, the most complicated, but I didn't want to put the risk on the beginning, even it would be better for me, because if I start with the third part, it would have so much omote cut part on the floor, and I would take the risk to slip on the floor when I would be on the choreography with the Yaito part, so the second part, and it would be a bit more dangerous for the throwing too. So I decided to start with the throws. I think it would be better for the next time that I don't use some spinning throw where I'm not totally 100% feeling comfortable. So ninja stars are not my favorite. It was interesting to do it, but it took too much energy on rehearsal. Like I spent like almost 50% of the rehearsal time with the ninja star because it was not working. Even though I train inside condition for this show to be in the same condition that for this event hotel situation for Shiseido, but the throws are not the same with tatami done with a wood block and having all the space outside, not people talking, not all these sounds that change your focus. It was really difficult to focus. It was a huge path between the woods, the forest, taking rest between every omote cuts and just here taking all the things together and from A to B, no break time between omote. And I think that was my mistake for the third part, to take too much rush. And there were the music like put me in emotional condition. I think that's why I was too much hurry between my omote cuts, and I didn't recalibrate my stances when I was changing on axis from a omote to another, because it's 360 degrees when you cut so much target and you just change direction and you go to another one to make another cut. So in the future I will have to train so much in multiple target situation training. It's totally different that simple cut in one omote on one stand. It's totally another exercise. I have to recalibrate, and of course the stamina is totally different because you start with cardio with the throws, then I went to Yaito, there is a bit cardio too, and I finish with the biggest part, the huge part, with like less stamina as possible. And of course the sleep, the wake up at 8, performing at 9:30 p.m. was something that I have to change on my schedule if I have another opportunity in the future. So what I think about the throws, I think I missed one double ninja star throw. I think I would change the setup with the 2 tatami and having more 1 meter 80 centimeters of wide next time, and I would put them on a wood block structure like they do in Japan, and from that I could be able to throw from a longer distance, so it will be more impressive. I think for the Yaito choreography I have to improve it. I have to be in better energy, like if I woke up at 9 and I perform at between 3 p.m. and 6 p.m. I think I would have a better flow. I think it could be on a different zone on the stage, and of course I think I should start with the Tamashigiri Battojutsu performance and recalibrating every different changes of axes, and of course having a bigger depth, like 7 or 8 meters of depth. Here it was like between 5 or 6, and from the public audience I have just 2 or 3 meters. It was really too short. So 3 meters plus 5, it was I think 8 meters or less, between 8 and 7. So I was not feeling confident. I was like too worried about what would do the audience if they were moving, the photographer or the audience were public were moving and getting into the zone, because they were not having a red rubber band to indicate as I asked to Shiseido. Maybe they forgot it, and that was I was a little bit not too much confident, worried about safety, because safety is really important, especially when you have a sword in a live show. So the thing is, for next time I would ask like 10 meters or more between me and the audience, and I would be able to have a front axis cut, because you have seen I never cut in the direction of the audience. That was my decision for bringing safety in a situation where safety was safety, not safety so much. And I decided so to match all my suihei in the direction of my back wall if I'm in front of the audience, like you have seen. So the thing is, I think it was a good decision. I took a shoren nagasa with the shinobi katana. Of course, you know that I don't feel good with the balance, but I know this sword now because I made the review, I trained with it so much. So I was confident about it reduced the risk because it reduced the distance, but it reduced the power when you cut on targets. So if I am too close from targets, I had less power, and if I have less stamina, less energy because not enough sleep, 3 or 4 hours of sleep at maximum, and a big day because on the day I have another preparation, we will talk about it just now, what was the difference of the setup and how this show changed Ronin hood for the future, because with different type of material I had to calibrate everything differently, because if you have to set up like 10 stand of tamashigiri, I had 11 or 12 omote to dry and to soak and to keep soak just before the show. I made another mistake there because I thought that I could soak them, dry them just before the show. I put them on stage 3 hours before the show. It was a mistake because it's warmer inside and we were on spring, so it's make too dry the omote for the cuts. So I think it was not good. I would just have to wait just before the show and from the soaking bath get just into the stage just 5 minutes or 30 minutes before the show. So that's the best, and that was another mistake, because into the woods I calculate that if I go into the woods for 2 p.m. starting cutting, I just dry them at 12. So I thought it was good, but it depends on meteorology and which season you practice. If it's in August, it's different than if it is in October, of course, not same Celsius temperature out there. So I will take my paper because I don't want to forget anything. So I talk you about the soaking mistakes, and now I will show you my new machine. My new machine about soaking is a machine that is a pump. It's making huge difference because I'm able to take off the water from the bath for omote like in 1 minute. So it's so much energy not spent with muscles, and many minutes of time, like 1 hour sometimes, to taking off the water without pump machine. So the pump machine is awesome. So you can just see here the picture. I will put you the reference in the link if you want, so you will be able to buy it if you want, and you will see how it changed life. Of course, if you are in an apartment, is not so great, but you can use it too. I will make a review, specific review about this new soaking process. I have of course a new bath for omote, so you can see it right there. It's awesome. It's spend less water because it's not the same wide of bath of soaking, so it's not same dimension, so I'm not the obligation to spend so much water, like 114 liter if you want to just soak 8, 10, 12 omotes instead of 16. So it's awesome. It's just take less space, so it's awesome too. I just talk about the stands, many craft and fast setup. So I use machine to set up my stand, so it take like 1 minute per stand instead of 5 or 10 minutes. It's make a huge difference when you have 10. So it was just a huge piece of work to be able to have this mechanics almost professional, I would say, on the timing. I'm not professional swordsman, but on the timing and the technical preparation, it has to be like clock. You have to clock everything because you don't have time when you have to go on stage and to perform for someone that pay you for your performance and for that show. To be in late of 2 hours of time, you have to be on time for rehearsal time, you have to be on stage for performance time. So I had to be like really precise on all the technical aspect of the setup. So all the mechanical aspect for like setting one tamashigiri stand in 1 minute was just really important. And of course, if I want to put it back at the end of the show, so to disassemble every stand in 1 minute too. So it was really interesting, and that changed everything for the future in Ronin Hood. So I'm really glad for that. Drying time mistakes, I already talked about to you about that. Safety, Nagasa, and the Shinobi Katana that I choose for the risk of ugly cuts, because in rush time, in field of battle, performance time, when you have 12 omote without rest, without break, and you have an audience that is waiting for something that has to be a performance in live, show time is really different than would time where I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes and it's cut on the final cut. So the thing is, it's totally different that in a live show where there is no rest. So I feel it's more like a field of battle instead of a duel, if we can say that. Of course it's not true, because a field of battle, it's unbelievable for someone like me that is just a small beginner, still beginner practitioner. But if I have to make a picture, I would say that the live show is a field of battle where the woods, cutting time, tamashigiri time, battle jutsu is just a duel. So it's totally different, and for the future I have to really think about that on my physical preparation and the way I train. Of course it's different because it's the omote cost because now they are like costing so much money, like 15 euros to more per omote, no matter what quality of omote. So it's changing the game, because I can't have a real soul on the woods with 12 omote and practicing the multiple target time. I was not well prepared for that multiple target aspect, technical aspect on my preparation, but I will work on it deeply, and next time it will be as clean as I wish. So the multiple shuriken type mistakes were about changing of size, weight, and type of shurikens, like circular movement, spinning movement of the ninja stars is really different on the techniques and the stances than with no spin. So I have to work on that, and the first thing, my decision is clear. I don't want to throw next time ninja star, because I don't feel so great as I feel great with no spin, and they are really instinctive. They are really instinctive with the no spin shuriken, no bow shuriken, and not with the ninja star. So my decision is clear for that. I would say that the multiple shuriken types can be really interesting, but I have to readapt faster with the kunai rope dart and then bow shuriken, but I will train on that later for making a performance, the same performance, and having the habits to making the 2 minutes of shuriken performance without no rest. And recalibrate faster for the expectation of the audience that don't want to wait so much for something that is more a budo ritual, and adapting the budo ritual in a show. That was my quest, and I think I'm not good, still not good on that. I have to think deeply about the intention, the sense of adapting budo to a show, and that was my big mistake and my big quest in the same time. And I have to think deeply about that, how to bring to an audience something that is spiritual, because yes, budo is spiritual. It's not just like making movements like jutsu. We are not killing machine, we are not soldier, so we are just practitioner. That's something that is about, not about violence, but about master an object of conflict to a peaceful, inner peaceful quest. So there is a moral responsibility in the intention that we bring out to the audience, as even we are not masters or expert, but as an entertainer or as just a real sincere practitioner. So I think on that I have to work again on what is the intention that I have to, I know the intention I have to bring, but the intention has to be revealed through the show. And on that I have so much work again to make it spiritual, but for the Western world, because it's so complicated. Western world is totally different in the way they see martial arts, or it has to be fun, or it has to be entertainment. It has to be huge as a martial arts movie or a choreographical martial arts performance. They don't see in sometimes the quiet intensity of simple move what could be interesting. So it's a huge challenge to bring people to that, bringing some important incredible moments if it's possible, to make them appreciate maybe the spiritual aspect of budo. So that is my huge quest and my huge path to grow on for the next opportunity if I will have one. So that was for the spiritual aspect versus entertainment show. The Western world behavior on stage, I mean like technical person that were working with me that day for making this show possible, and I thank them truly from the heart for giving me that opportunity. They helped me a lot because we didn't have any we have like 95% of all the stuff we need, but it was missing some kind of thing, and they did the best that they could. So they were amazing partner for making this adventure possible, this new adventure. But the Western world behavior on stage with a sword and budo expression is really not easy for me. I mean, I'm not Japanese, I'm not making cultural appropriation, I'm just I think living a simple budo practitioner lifestyle, really implicated 100% every day on it, living more than 15 years, and I just think this is sincere and not more than that. So the thing is, when people get into the zone and you send them like technical rules to respect for the audience and everyone to make it happen positively without any accident, and they were not having the red plastic rubber band as minimum. I say as minimum because this is real, so we are not joking on that. It's not a play. Like safety is not a play. It's not entertainment. This part is really serious. So for that, I'm like wondering many things in my mind on these 6 months again the show, because I was how we can make it really safe, and the answer is distance, like 10, 14 meters, and then I will be able to make front cut. And the composition, this is my job, I think, to, if I can say that, to bring the budo spirit in the show, to make people having what I felt when I saw Japanese show in Japan or on YouTube or whatever, and how the alignment of the conscience into the move make it different, make it budo, make it self-improvement, self-development, and make the moment absolutely outstanding on something that me and many other people, like simple practitioners, perceive in Japan, and the difference for me in the practice that I've seen for karate or other martial arts in Japan and not in Europe. Even there are many budoka that's so great in Europe. This is there is another type of conscience in the practice for me. I apologize, I don't want to be rude for the Western world in Europe, but I see a really different type of intention in the lifestyle in the budo. So, number of targets for training was just 2. It was use tatami, half target length, so they were not like serious target. It was a mistake of me. I wanted to have more target on the stage, and at least I had 11 target on the stage, and it was a huge mistake. I needed to train more. Many real great swordsmen do it. As well, Keiba Tosai, you can see on his YouTube channel, he's preparing so much. I think so much his talent is so amazing, but even professional expert has to rehearsal the good way. So I think it was not enough 2 targets or half targets for 11 target cut or tried to be cut on stage for the last show moment. So that was a huge mistake. I will change that for the next time with at least 4 targets for rehearsal and 12 target or just 8 target, because the number of targets that were cut was a big indication for me of what I can do. Because you can say many things in your head, you can rehearsal, you can train 3 years in the woods. After 3 years, you have to face your result. I face my result like 7 minutes versus 5 years. I would say like serious 3 years in the woods, totally implicated in my battodo, a free practitioner way, as you know. But on these 7 minutes, all the mistakes, I have to face it, no matter what. Even I didn't sleep, even I had a huge day of things to bring to the stage, rehearsal time, ninja stars problem, no shooting, the wall of the hotel, fancy hotel. Anyway, I missed 3 omote. That's really not what I was expecting. So I'm disappointed about myself on that. But there were many omote, no rest, new condition, and I was not expecting that I had to prepare multiple targets, experience and training. I didn't expect it that I had to train with this kind of stamina. I didn't expect that I have to move less rushly between targets and taking my time. Even I feel sometimes the audience is like losing attention because they are not enough patient, because Western world, no patience. And no matter what, next time I will take all my time, all my patience to bring every simple cut at the same level that into the woods. And I have to train so much on what the difference between the crowd sounds. There is a huge enemy against focusness. all this noise that is so different that the inner piece of the wood, I have to train so much. I think this is the huge thing that I learned from this experience. So that's it for my self-criticize, and now I will need time to evolve, to practice better, and to fight against less of focusedness because of the noise, the crowd noise. Every type of noise is really difficult for me. We talk about the distance on stage and rehearsal time that was not fitting. The wake up, the preparation rehearsal time on stage was not fitting with my energy possibilities, so I have to change that like deeply, and no matter what, like I will have to, if I have another opportunity to say it start at this time, it finish at this time, and this is not possible another way. The distance, of course, I say it again, but 12 meters, 10 meters as minimum between the target and the audience is a minimum. And now it's really clear. And between the width of the stage has to be as minimum 7 meters, because it was impossible. I was too close from the wall, and you won't destroy your sword. That's why I choose the Yaino Enzo instead, in case of an accident with the blade and I broke the blade. I decided to take a blade that is not so much expensive, and I think it was a good choice. But I think the Okaze from Bushiden would have a better choice for power and a balance, because of course a balance for me is really important. Conclusion: I have to improve my cuts with 11-12 amote live conditions on rehearsal or training times for preparing better, even it costs a lot. Throw only on no spin with large stage, safety dimension, with more white tatami with wood stand for shuriken tatami. So my setup, assistant for making a less exhausting preparation is really important. I had an assistant, but he was a great friend, but not enough concern on every detail, technical aspect. So I think the next assistant would have to be more working than me, to give me the opportunity to spend less energy on the preparation. Like you bring every stuff and everything is heavy, so muscle contraction, it's huger. It's taking more energy than getting into the woods like I usually do. So because of the noise, because all the interaction, human interaction, asks you so much energy. So if you didn't have like more than 2 or 3 hours of sleep, at the end of the day, you just are not able to perform the best way, I think. Reducing time between wake up and stage performance, of course, it's so important. Changing the artistical composition to adapt it to Western world in matter of safety and spirituality. Because when I say spirituality, I say intention of self-improvement through the budo. So I call that spirituality. Expression without losing the spirit of budo. That means self-control, pacifical behavior. Even it's sometimes difficult when you have to make a performance, you have to express something that is pacifically and positively giving inspiration for others, because that's the correct behavior of Budoka, I think, and that's the meaning, if I'm correct, of Budo. So we have already made the analysis and criticize of my performance in matter of throws, Yaito choreography. I could say something, I was not able to do best choreography in 15 days of preparation. I will try something better with time, but for the moment I was not able to do something better. So I have not so much criticized to say. I think it was not enough smooth, not enough lived, like I used to do in the woods. I was not giving enough power and sometimes in the cut. I was too scared about having an issue with a photographer or someone getting to the zone, like thinking it's plastic sword, and I had a photographer, so my instinct was telling me the truth, because if I had a true sword at that moment, we are really close from an accident. So photographers are really thinking that swords are in plastic. They should think it differently, I think. So the attitude, the energy, safety, performance, spirituality, meaning, or pacifical intention, if you prefer that word, were the great topics of this show. I think I learned a lot. I have been I've been shaped as a 3 years free practitioner. I think budoka, because in karate I'm budoka since 15 years. Because formally trained in karate, informally trained in battodo and shurikenjutsu. But I think in future I will correct that, because it was really difficult, but I found some serious people to train me in battodo more formally. And you will know that later, guys, when it will be done. And I will show you maybe the results, and you will share with me this journey. So that's it for this episode. So the analysis and making of the Samurai Shinobi Show. Why Samurai Shinobi Show? Because you know that I love Ghost of Tsushima, and I think it's interesting to note that in my short previous research, shinobi were samurai, so samurai were shinobi, so same aspect of the coin. And I think their science or their mastery of weaponry and feudal martial arts technicity is so impressive that in these two worlds that is one world, samurai and shinobi, we have to learn so much. And me as a budoka, karateka, I've learned so much since 5 years about how much sword is complicated. I thought it was so easy to cut a mat when I was in the samurai experience of Let's Ask Shogo. And this is how my journey began as a swordsman, if I can say that. And it's awesome to have this opportunity to make this first show. Of course, I'm not totally happy of my result. I think I have to work a lot to make the same result on live stage that on final cut on the Ronin Hood review. Of course, I didn't put Niten because it was too dangerous for a stage, because with two swords you took too much space. And if I'm not 100% sure that there are not a safety that is totally sure, and that my energy is 100%, I won't do anything on live. Not a chance. So thank you for having watched this episode. It was a great moment to share with you. I hope you're not too much disappointed by these 3 omote. I hope you have seen a part of the Ronin Hood that maybe you were not expecting in live condition. We have now a pump, we have new tatamis, we have a new stand. I have like 12 stand. So Ronin Hood just began. Thank you for having watched this episode. Stay focused, peaceful mind, and body healthy, and see you soon in the next one in Ronin Hood.